The deep web warning. Ever since he'd discovered the mysteries of the internet, Mark had always been intrigued by the elusive deep web. Its shadowy corners, untouched by regular search engines, held secrets that he couldn't resist. Late one night, fueled by caffeine and curiosity, he delved deeper than ever before. Navigating through a labyrinth of encrypted websites and hidden portals, Mark stumbled upon a peculiar site named Ephemeral Echoes. It boasted live streams of some of the world's most haunted locations. Skeptical yet intrigued, he clicked on one of the streams labeled The Forgotten Cellar. The grainy footage showed a dimly lit basement. Old wooden beams crisscrossed overhead, and dusty cobwebs danced in the cold air. An old rocking chair moved ever so slightly, as if pushed by an invisible hand. Mark scoffed, thinking it was just another staged video for thrill seekers. But as he continued to watch, a chill ran down his spine. The layout of the basement, the chipped paint on the walls, the specific crack on the third step of the stairs, it was all eerily familiar. He felt his heart race as the camera panned to a corner, revealing a stack of old cardboard boxes. Mark recognized them instantly. They were the same boxes he had stored away, filled with childhood memories. His disbelief turned to horror when he heard a faint, familiar sound from the video, a sound that seemed to be coming from both his headphones and from somewhere below him in his house. The unmistakable creak of the basement door. Frozen in fear, Mark realized that not only was the haunted location in the live stream his own basement, but someone, was now broadcasting from there. And they weren't alone. The question that haunted him now was, who, or what, was down there with them? The never-ending stream. Emily's passion was gaming, and she loved sharing that enthusiasm with her online community. Every evening, after clocking out from her demanding day job at a tech firm, Emily would eagerly return to her sanctuary, a room adorned with neon-lit gaming posters and shelves filled with limited-edition game collectibles. She'd settle into her plush, LED-lit gaming chair, the kind with built-in speakers that immersed her even further into the virtual worlds she explored. Slipping on her noise-canceling headphones, she'd hear the familiar chime as her custom-built gaming rig came to life. As she began her streams, a webcam positioned perfectly atop her dual monitors would capture her focused expressions and occasional triumphant cheers. It wasn't just her impressive gaming skills that drew viewers from all over the world. It was also her infectious energy, witty commentary, and genuine interactions with her chat. Her streams were a delightful blend of top-tier gameplay and endearing personal anecdotes, often sprinkled with tales from her day or her thoughts on the latest gaming news. Over time, word spread about Emily's channel. Her relatability, combined with her undeniable skill, meant that she wasn't just another gamer online. She was a beacon for those who sought both entertainment and a sense of community. It wasn't long before her follower count skyrocketed, turning her evening hobby into a digital haven for a dedicated fanbase who eagerly awaited her nightly broadcasts. One afternoon, after wrapping up a particularly challenging game, a notification popped up. It was from a user named Night Owl Watcher, someone she didn't immediately recognize from her regulars. "Hey Emily," the message read, "I've been really enjoying your streams. Feels like you're on all the time." Emily smiled, assuming it was a figure of speech, and quickly typed back, "Thanks. I try to be on as much as I can after work. Glad you're enjoying it." There was a brief pause before Night Owl Watcher replied, "It's just impressive how much you're online, even when you're not gaming." Emily's fingers hovered over the keyboard. "I appreciate the support," she responded, trying to keep the tone light, "but I only game for a few hours in the evenings. The rest of the day, I'm off doing regular life stuff." Another pause, slightly longer this time. "That's what I mean," Night Owl Watcher wrote back. "I love watching those moments too. Like when you're cooking or reading a book." Emily felt a chill. "Sorry. I think there's been a misunderstanding. I only stream my gameplay." Night Owl Watcher's next message sent a wave of dread over her. "I know. I'm talking about the other channel. The one where you're always live, even when you think you're alone. Emily hesitated, her fingers trembling slightly over the keyboard. What channel are you referring to? She typed, trying to keep her tone neutral while a knot of unease tightened in her stomach. Night Owl Watcher responded almost immediately, providing a link. This one. You really are captivating to watch, even in the simplest of moments. Her heart pounding loudly in her ears, Emily hesitated for a long moment before finally clicking the link. As the page loaded, her worst fears were confirmed. The live feed displayed her room in crisp detail. The angle was slightly off from her usual streaming setup, a hidden vantage point that showcased more of her room than she was comfortable with. She watched, horrified, as the on-screen Emily glanced between the live chat and the mysterious link, her face slowly contorting with the realization of what was happening. This wasn't a delayed feed from her gaming sessions. This was live, happening right now. Frantically, Emily scrolled back through the streaming history. Clips from days, weeks, even months ago played out before her. There she was, curled up in bed reading a book. Another showed her dancing absent-mindedly while cleaning. More chilling were the clips of her asleep, or having private conversations on the phone, or changing clothes. Every aspect of her private life, moments she believed were hers alone, had been broadcasted for an unknown audience. The weight of the invasion pressed heavily on her, making it hard to breathe. Who would do this? How long had this been going on? And how many people had been watching her without her knowledge? The laptop's gaze. Amelia, always on the hunt for a bargain, couldn't believe her luck when she found a sleek laptop at a neighborhood garage sale. The price was almost too good to be true. Eager to start her new semester with a functional device, she quickly handed over the cash and headed home. Booting it up, Amelia noticed that the previous owner hadn't bothered to clear their files. Curiosity piqued. She clicked on a folder named Observations. Inside, she found a list of videos, each labeled with a different name. Clicking on the first video, Amelia was greeted by dim lighting, casting a solemn ambience over a sparsely furnished room. In the center sat a young man, his eyes darting around nervously as if sensing he was being watched. With a shaky breath, he began to speak, voice quivering with emotion. "I've never told anyone this, but I feel like I'm suffocating under the weight of my mistakes," he whispered, recounting missed opportunities and moments he wished he could take back. Every so often, he'd pause, listening intently, as if expecting a response from the silent room. Curiosity driving her forward, Amelia clicked on the next video. The setting was eerily similar, but this time a woman sat hunched over, strands of her hair sticking to the wet trails on her cheeks. With every sob, she'd clutch a locket around her neck, the pain in her eyes unmistakable. "It was my fault," she choked out, diving into a heart-wrenching account of an accident years prior and the guilt that had haunted her ever since. Each confession was more heartrending than the last, filled with raw emotion and untold stories. As Amelia continued watching, an unsettling pattern emerged. None of the individuals seemed aware of the camera's presence. Their confessions were raw, unfiltered, and deeply personal, as if the laptop had become a silent therapist, drawing out the darkest secrets and fears. The weight of their stories pressed heavily on Amelia's chest, the realization dawning that she was viewing moments never meant to be seen. The laptop, it seemed, was not just a passive observer but a predatory collector of human vulnerability. She was about to shut it down when she noticed the last video on the list. It was dated for next Friday and bore a title that sent a shiver down her spine: Amelia's Truth. Staring at the screen, Amelia felt a mix of dread and disbelief. How could there be a video of her that hadn't even been recorded yet? And who had this laptop before her? She felt watched, violated, and suddenly very alone. Amelia's fingers hovered over the video labeled with her name. Every ounce of her being screamed to shut the laptop and walk away, yet a morbid curiosity anchored her in place. Taking a deep breath, she clicked on the video. The screen flickered to life, showing her own room from an angle she didn't recognize. The timestamp indicated that the video was taken just a few days prior. Amelia watched as her on-screen self moved about the room, going about her daily routines. She saw herself laughing at a text, engrossed in her studies, and even dancing when she thought no one was watching. The invasion of her privacy was palpable, each second on screen making her feel more exposed and vulnerable. The video ended with her on-screen self gazing directly at the camera's hidden location, a look of realization dawning on her face. The Amelia on the screen whispered, "Who are you?" before the video abruptly ended. Her heart raced, and she felt the walls of her room closing in on her. The laptop wasn't just a device. It was a silent observer, capturing moments without consent. It was then that she made up her mind. Amelia would track down the previous owner and put an end to this invasive nightmare. However, she couldn't escape the unsettling feeling that, even as she plotted her next move, the laptop was still silently watching, waiting for its next moment to record.